Here are my parts that are ready for a cable railing that I'm doing. So I have 5 top rails, 5 1-inch posts that will be in the middle, and then 6 large 3-inch posts. So really the biggest part of cable rail is to be sure that your layouts are correct. All these holes, you want to be sure the layout is good, because if one is off, it's going to look really stupid and will not look level at all. So how I'm going to fit this all together is the 3-inch post will be the outside post, and then every other post will be a large post too, which will have these tabs on them. Now I do not have riv nuts installed in these yet, because I'm going to take it to powder coating, and that will just gum the threads up. So the top rails will slip over each one of those posts, and when it gets done, the riv nut will actually be in this way, but so that way it will create that socket that we can screw into, and on the ends of each one of these top rails I have a 5/16 groove in there, and that will fit over like so. And then that riv nut, you can see the threading is there, which the screw will secure it to. This should work out pretty good. And also the mid posts will screw in here as well, and the riv nut will drop into there. And then that's how the mid post will attach. So I'm going to set this up to give you a rough idea what it'll look like when it will go in for a test fit. Here is the rough layout of all of those parts. So this is what it'll look like as it's all bolted together. Now you have to keep in mind that I do not have the riv nuts installed, and I do not have it screwed together, so it does not look 100% straight. But this is just to give you a rough idea of how it'll look out with all those components put together. So my next step will be to break it down, take it to the actual site just to check the fit there before it goes over to powder coating. And then after it's powder coated, then all of the riv nuts will go together into the parts. Here's the rough layout in place. So our lengths look good. I did not put in the small middle ones because there's nothing for them to hang to without the riv nuts in there, and it's quite a long fall for material to get busted if it falls out of whack, which would be kind of playing a balancing act. So I'm not going to put those in, but I know that they will work. So now it's off to powder coat. So it is install day for the cable rail. So here are all of our parts all ready to go. Get a close up. So those are the riv nuts on the underside of the top rail that the top side of the post will bolt to. Here are my main posts. I'll give you a close up on the riv nuts here. So that's how we went. So it will bolt up this way. So that way it pulls the top rail nice and tight. Just enough clearance here. So there are all of our posts. And if you were wondering, I do have these numbered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is the way that I have them set out. I did not have the top rails or the intermediate post numbered because they're all the exact same size, with the exception of the top rails. These 2 are the same, and then these 3 are the same length. Shorter ones are going to go on the long side, longer ones go on the short side. Yeah, nice confusing, right? Okay, so I'm going to get started doing the layout. I'll try to walk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it, but enjoy the show. I'm going to start out by laying. I'm going to run these posts this way and then that way. Put the main post in, attach all the top rails, and then I'll come back and put the center post in, just because it's not gonna provide any support for the here and the now and just make it a little floppy. So So I'm 1 inch away from the baseboard, so I'm going to mark that off. Just a little dot so that way I can see it. And now this board overlaps. Sorry, not overlaps. It overhangs the edge by 1/2 inch, and we have 5/8 of drywall. So we need to come back 1 5/8 at least, or 1 1/8, sorry, to come back so that way we hit in. But I kind of have it so it should be, these posts should be centered in that board. So we'll start off here. I'm going to be 1 1/4 from the edge in, and that'll put my screw hole at 1 3/4. So that'll be more than enough to get into the good wood and not go out into no man's land and have no bite on anything. I will eventually put 1 drop of blue Loctite on these, but for the here and the now, I think I'm just going to get it kind of set in loosely before I make anything official and leave it there. So these are the short side. Okay. So it'll be two screws, 2 washers under each side. And just snugging them, not torquing it just yet. Get these up and out of the way a little bit so that way you can kind of see what I'm doing. This post is a little bit long that way, but that's fine because I have a 1 inch buffer over there. So what I'm going to do is, now that this whole line is connected, I'm just going to slowly bump it that way, and hopefully it all just kind of pulls together. I'd say I need to come over 1/4 inch. I'm going to go back through and just reset all of these. It's going to be a lot of adjusting back and forth as I go through here to get these set up, which is just fine. So far, everything is fitting together just the way I wanted. No surprises yet, but we're still pretty early. Okay, all of these, the big posts, top rails are all connected. Here's what I like to use to put the post down, these construction lags. These things bite and they hold nice and tight. I'm going to start in that corner. That's my main corner, and I want that post to stay right where it's at. Start there, work that way, this way. Okay, our railing posts, top rail, all bolted in. Now we get to do the fun part of stringing the cables. So now we're going to start running the cables through. There's a lot of rubber grommets that will go in the holes that the cable will feed through. That's going to be probably one of the most time-consuming parts, and being sure that you don't miss any. And then it will be, these are the tensioners, which will go here, and then the other set for that string will go down there. And then these will be the ends. These will just clamp into the cable, go into the end post, and they'll turn to a T. And so that will be pulling this way, and that will lock it in place. So the way I am going to do this, I'm going to try it out, is I am going to, see, this end fits into the cable, and then we crimp it. This end will come through the post, feeds through like so, and then that feeds through like that. So that way, you tension it by holding this end and then tightening it up. Handheld hydraulic crimping tool. Okay, and obviously don't want to squeeze it yet because I don't have the cable in. Our cable plugs through just like that. And then I'm going to squeeze it. And I go as hard as I can. See, you can see how it's squeezing. I do a couple of them just to be sure. Okay. So now I am going to take my cable down here and start feeding it through. And I'm going to come through this way and then measure, measure by slightly turning about 2 turns of the thread into the end and then pulling it to that end post, making it about a 1/4 inch longer, and then clamp that T to it, shove it through, and then continue on to the next one, the next one, the next one, because we don't tension it until everything is in. And you want to be sure that you feed it through the same hole, where we're not going crooked. Okay, so I am in the 1, 2, 3, 4th hole. 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. Actually, I'm going to do this. Feed it through like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to shove it all the way through here. Maybe. Okay, so there's my threaded end. So I'm going to stick it on. And I'm just going to put it just a couple threads. Just so that way it holds. I'm going to pull it through. So that way I have the most amount of tensioning I can get. And I'm just going to go through and put all of the rubbers in here before I move on. This is such an annoying part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that cable just hand tight. And I am going to pull the cable my knotted up cable. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pull it right here. Then I'm going to put a mark on the cable. So that way I know that's to the edge, close to. Then I'm going to get my end. So here's the end. So that cable is going to go into that approximately 1 inch. So then I'm going to take my cable and I'm going to measure 1 1/4 over from my mark, and that's where I'm going to cut it. Okay, so there's on 1 1/4. Get my cable cutters. I find my marks. Okay, there's my second mark. I cut it there. I put my end rubber through. And I'm going to feed it through the end. That way it's flush. Crimp it. And like the other one, I'm going to crimp this one 2 times as well. Okay, so it's crimped. Now, that is how it will sit inside the post. So now, so when you want to be sure you get the right one, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get out if you don't do it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, I might need to make that just a hair longer next time. I'm going to go 1 inch and a half. But I can loosen it just a hair. And hopefully that gave me just enough to get through there. I had a brain fart there. So what I should have done would be clip it, then go undo the tension, then feed that through, and then re-pull it. Lesson learned. It's okay. This is only my second cable railing, so give me a break. Lessons are learned. Okay, so it's just a bunch of rinse and repeat. Okay, I got all the cables in now. So now we got to tension them. So you start in the middle. So come to the middle. And then you just pull it tight. And then you just alternate between the top and the... Just go 1 above the middle, 1 below the middle. You don't need to tighten them guitar string tight either. Can I feel it? So this side is all done. Now it's just off to this side, tension those. Same thing, middle, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, until you're done. Our strings are tight. You can always go back and tighten them even more if you want, but I believe that's tight enough. That side's done. Put the caps and the skirts on. Okay, this job is a wrap. Let's take a look at the finished product. Everything went together just as I planned. Everything fit together perfect. The look is just how we wanted. I think we're going to have a happy customer on our hands. Let's take another look down the way. All right, well, I appreciate you tuning in, and until the next job, I'll see you around.